ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it.
And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it.
It's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it.
And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma.
it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it.
Hi, welcome everyone to Head to Head with Brian Parker. Obviously, I am not he, but I am she, Lori Parker. Hey, welcome to the show and happy Thursday to everyone. So glad that you were able to sit here to join us. The head of our show is actually taking care of a few things, so you get to spend some time with me today. Which is awesome. So when he is finishing up and is going to be joining the show, we're going to have an impact and a great time talking about lots of things that have been going on. One thing that we want to sit there and to talk about is where is the Democratic Party and what's happening, because that's just a lot for that way. And then in the era of Trump, and then also to talk about some of the whiplash from Trump regarding the Department of Education, the dismantling of the Department of Education and bringing it back to the states. So we want to hear from you and hear what's going on from you and then for that's going on. But just to kind of get some of the little things out prior to the beginning of the show, I am going to run a couple of commercials. Just to kind of to get that going. The first commercial that I'm gonna actually promote is Jermaine Parker Realty. So again, if you're on the market for looking for your home, your first time buying a home, please come and look and reach out to Jermaine Parker Realty. We're here to help you and to help you to be able to find your forever home. So let me just play this clip and then I'll be right back.
Buying a home is one of the biggest decisions that you'll make. Here at Jermaine Parker Realty, we're here to help you navigate through that process. We know that a home is more than just a place to live. It creates memories. Here at Jermaine Parker Realty, we're here to help. Give us a call and let us get started on your journey.
Thanks. Again, if you're on the market or looking for, let Jermaine Parker Realty help you to be able to get and to fund your purchase for your new home or as well. The next commercial that I'm going to sit here and to run is actually about a book from Sheldon and Shanine Muldrow. It's called Sawyer, Kid Lawyer. And this was actually the first book, but actually to let everyone know, the second book actually has been written and this way. So we're going to actually try and see if we're going to get Shanine and Sheldon back on to talk about the second book, which has been published, and get that out. So here is Sawyer, Kid Lawyer.
Introducing Sawyer, Kid Lawyer, Teacher versus Nap Time, a great book that will help your little one with reading, writing, and spelling. Coming from the authors, Shanine and Sheldon Muldrow. Please check this book out and support. Thank you so much.
Again, if you have any little ones, whether you're a niece, aunt, or uncle, please read Sawyer, Kid Lawyer. It is actually a great book, and I guess it's learnings for your young person. The last commercial that I'm going to sit here and to run is actually a book from a good friend of both Brian and I's, Catherine Waddell. It's called Moments, and let me actually get this to you. It's a great read, definitely something that's very spicy, that could be a way of putting it, but it's actually a great read and something that is out there. I think with the dismantling of, or they talk about with education, I think we all need to get back to reading books. So this is another book that's out there that's great for reading. It's called Moments. Hold on. Well, thanks everyone. Again, we are great to hear on different books, but here at Head to Head, if you have a business or some type of event that you would like to promote, not just here within the North Carolina area, but also everywhere around the world, please send us an email at theparkermedia@gmail.com. That is theparkermedia@gmail.com. Well, as I'm sitting here trying to sit here and to fumble through, I see my brother-in-law may be joining, and he can let me know when he gives me the thumbs up. I can bring him on the stage. Hello, 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 sir. Jermaine, seems like you're frozen. Can't hear you. Okay. Don't tell me the white van is circling the neighborhood now. Mm-mm. Okay, it's coming. Mm-hmm. Well, if you need me to take you out so you can fix it, you can. Okay. Okay. Still can't hear you. Hold on. I'm just gonna remove you so I can fix it, and then we'll come back. Okay. I think today is on my first show that I guess that I'm sitting here running it, having my little bit of technical difficulties, but nevertheless can kind of sit there and get and go through. But yes, as the franchise or Jermaine and owner of Jermaine Parker Realty will be coming on in a few minutes. We can sit there and to get the show on. As I said, I know Brian is taking care of a few things, but as I said, definitely with Jermaine on here, we can at least start to talk about some of the goings ons and the whiplash that we have been receiving since the beginning of the week. I think every time I think I always sit there and dread looking at the news, because it's always something that's going on. But definitely it is something that's a lot that's going on. But we as voters and as citizens of this world, we all need to be aware and cognizant of what we sit here and what we're doing. So that's exactly what we're here, and we want to make sure that through this show that everyone is informed and can be able to make the best decision for their family. Jermaine, yay. Oh, let's try. Okay. Hello? No, can't hear you. No. Maybe join, maybe log off and join again. Mm. Okay. Nevertheless, it's just been that kind of day and that kind of week. So anyway, and again, thank you anyone for joining the show. You can let me know what's on your mind and what's going on with you. If you could just please join the chat as I'm working out our technical difficulties. Just let me know. Let me know what's on your mind. Um, well, I guess I can get this started. So, talking about, and as I said again with the news, sometimes the news is a little bit disheartening, but nevertheless, I know that Donald Trump has actually signed an executive order where he wants to be able to dismantle the Department of Education, and with the new head of Department of Education, Linda McMahon, is actually starting to sit there and to dismantle it. So definitely need to know why. What are your thoughts? What's going on? Why does he feel that he's bringing it back to the states, but he's not bringing the decision back to the states? But I think with the Department of Education giving more cohesion to where basically there's a set of rules that can actually sit here and to be, but his by him dismantling the Department of Education is just actually crazy. So, all right, sir. Okay, let's try again. All right, I'm gonna add you to the stage.
I mean, I don't know what to do.
I got you. I hear you now.
What?
I hear you. I
What?
hear you.
It's all about turning that thing off, and then
And
what Parker men do best, turning it back on.
exactly. Here's the thing. It's the same thing for me, as well as I basically say when my computer, because he starts talking about how my computer is now the fan is on too hard, or it's blowing. I have to turn it off, do a little juju to it. So thank you so much for working very hard today, and then turn it back on.
There you go.
But thank you, Jermaine, for joining, and good to see you, brother.
Good
It's
to see
always
you.
good to see good to see you. Good to see your beautiful face. So just okay. Now you're gone. I can't hear you.
How about now?
Oh, now I can hear you. Now I
Okay.
can hear you. Okay.
I figured something. It's all right.
Okay.
So like I say, the old people when they say it's good to be seen, and I ain't gonna hold you. I'm gonna hop right in because I heard you talking about Trump's executive order today to dismantle uh, Department of Education. So here's my quick thing is that I don't understand how you can um, break up things that you couldn't put together. And so when we talk about what's Department of Transportation, Department of Education stuff, those are not things that are formed under presidential decrees. Those are things. There's a reason that there's separate entities that hold judicial, executive, and basically the power of the purse. And I understand that Congress, especially our Republican congressmen, want to basically not do their jobs and let Elon do their jobs for them. But when Elon started saying, "Well, I'm gonna fire these people," I'm like, under what authority do you have to fire these people?
That's what I don't understand, because I'm just like sitting here as a person who is not elected. He's just
Now,
kind of here. What is he
well, I mean,
doing?
so let's say because so here's the thing is that because he's not elected, he's not appointed. Basically, they're operating under the branch of the executive branch. And what my point is that the president doesn't have the authority to do the things that he's trying to give to Elon. Um, what it is that Congress is advocating um, their authority to the president, but even they're not allowed to do that. They just can't like this. This is like saying, "Well, President, you said you have the president comes out with his own budget, and then Congress has to go back and forth." Basically, it's like them saying, "Well, you already came up with a budget. There's needed for us to vote on it. We'll just let you do what you want to do." You just can't advocate those powers and stuff. And so, even if these presidents are saying, "Well, I hope that this is last Secretary of Education." Number one, I'm not even sure what the end goal other than privatization and capitalism, just just making rich people richer, kind of things. But I'm not sure the basis in law that allows him to do that. And this would not be the first executive order that has been challenged, not just for Trump, but for any president, where they say you're overreaching. And I think this is overreach.
I actually agree with you, Jermaine. It is a total overreach. But I think, and again, maybe if you're out there or everyone, I think it's just that he is trying to circumvent the Constitution and act like he's like an authoritarian and we're in a dictatorship. Like as soon as his black scribble, he puts it down. Like we're all supposed to sit here, and the fact that the United States is last in math scores, science, and everything else, why would you want to dismantle education?
So the thing that people have to understand is that education and the Department of Education, just like our federal and state governments, there are different prongs and different attacks or areas of responsibility. Maybe that's a better term for it. The Department of Education is not responsible. I see it was frozen. I didn't know if my voice was frozen too.
No, no, your voice wasn't
Okay.
frozen, but you're
Okay.
back.
But I could say the Department of Education is not responsible for Mississippi being damn near last to every educational list. That's actually the state's fault, right? And so when
Absolutely.
we talk about the Department of Education and we talk about what they're there for, they do important stuff like obviously student loans is a big one, right? And making sure that people have access to student loans. And so uh, when we're talking about dismantling them, we're not talking about them have the Department of Education has got federal guidelines, and the way that the federal government gets the states to buy into what they want to do is money. Is that we're
Hmm.
not going to give you extra money if you don't do these things. And so the if I could spitball a master plan, if you get rid of the federal oversight and the those limitations, those states are really open to being able to teach whatever they want or not teach whatever they want, teach who they want when they want or who they don't want to. They can exclude from education, especially public education. But it's not just public education, right? Too, it goes up in the universities and stuff. So I think this is another rolling back of the clock. Usually when I talk, usually about 5 minutes in, Lord throws in the graphic of KKK America. It pops up, but the yeah, America's a historic race. It is, and it amazes me when people go, "No, it's not," and I'm like, "There was like 400 years of slavery at the beginning, not the middle of the country's history, the
The beginning.
beginning of the history, and persisted into. I mean, it's really 120 years."
Yeah, it's just mind-boggling because I'm like
But
sitting here like, are we going back to like horse and buggy? And like what are you trying to do?
I think I think the saddest part about all this stuff is that we knew how Trump was going to be, so we know there was never going to be any pushback from the from people that he appointed as political appointees. So the executive branch is never going to push back on the president. And quite honestly, if you're under the administration, no one would expect you to. We do expect that our congressmen and women, our representatives, would sit there and have a bigger push. And I'll get to the Democrats in a second. Right now, it seems though that the only thing holding back anything is the judicial side, and that's being challenged. Where there's a president calling for impeachment, and which is funny because he's been twice impeached, but he's calling for. I guess he's familiar with the process now.
I guess so, because he wants to sit there and pass his judicial branch. I'm like, what?
Yeah. They straight up ignored the judge's orders, made up lame excuses why they did it. And so a little 6 weeks into his term, a little more than 6 weeks into his term, and he's already causing a constitutional crisis about where we're about to find out exactly how far. And the thing is, like, I've said this before, when the Supreme Court basically said that anything he could do anything he wants, because that's basically what they said. He could do anything what he wants. Now we're in the find out area of what that really means, and I'm not sure the Supreme Court completely understood the threat that they were allowing with this man and his administration, because a couple of things that dictators do: they get rid of the courts, they get rid of the free press.
Yep.
You've already heard Trump himself hint at wanting to be at a third term. He doesn't respect the Constitution. He doesn't think that rules or limits are for him. He's going to press the. There's going to get to a point, because remember, this is like a lame duck term for him. Like right now, there's no hope of him getting he can't get a third term. I honestly wish that they would allow for him to run for a third term, because then we could put Barack back up there again and see how he does against Barack.
I mean, it's just mind-boggling, because again, and then also when I'm thinking and looking at our congressmen and women, and I'm just like, and as I said, even when you were talking about the Department of Education, but you're actually basically looking at student loans, access to universities, those things. Also, the prosecution and investigation of things in education in states that are not giving fair access to in this one, and he's totally dismantling that.
Predatory loans.
Right.
All these regulations they want to roll back. I'd say let's go get to the Democrats. I'm going to go ahead and jump on them. So I have talked about for some time. I've changed my tune recently, but I've talked about some time about minorities having representatives that look like them, speak like them, and are intuitively aware of what the community's issues are because they come from the community. Not every couple of years, some politician clapping off beat in the front pew of a church lying to y'all. That's not who you should be voting for. Because one of the things that I've always said is that there's an illusion of two parties. There's an illusion of all this stuff, but there's collusion between both of them. If you look at the recent budget that was passed, the Democrats had an excellent opportunity to negotiate because they could not pass the budget without them.
Mm-hmm.
The leader of the party, Chuck Schumer, laid down and brought other Democrats with him so they could pass. And his explanation was, and I understand it's a risk of who gets the blame for a shutdown.
Yes.
But he's like, it's just not the right time. When is the right time, Chuck?
Well, that's the thing, because I was like, I need to understand, like, when is the right time? Because with the way things are going, and stock market, where we're going into a recession, it's just like, when is the right time to kind of say, and you know what, this is not looking good for the country, my constituents, or anything? When is the right time?
Well,
And when he did that, I was just like, then it seems like you need to start to make your way out of here, because you're just not fighting this man.
it's one of the things with Democrats where you either say you're either competent or you're playing around and this is a game. Like either you're too incompetent to lead, um, because you can't put forth your own collective and coherent and consistent vision of leadership and how you want to move forward and stuff. A lot of people, and I don't blame them because they're absolutely right when they say government doesn't work for me. Government doesn't work for a lot of people. And so what Donald Trump promised was to come in and tear down that dysfunctional government. Democrats ran on the government's fine. We might have to tweak it here and there, but there's a process for that, and you just have to be patient. And people are struggling financially, with their health. I mean, there's a lot of things going on, and the government isn't reactive enough for its citizens, which is a problem, and which is what Donald Trump ran on. Now, he's absolutely taking a wrecking ball to it, not for your benefit, for his
Right,
and his friends,
exactly. It's not
but
for the people.
it's not for the people. But at least I can say this administration, it has been the work of Republicans for damn near 40, 50 years get to this point. They've been consistent about what they wanted to do, how they wanted to do it. They wanted to, and they knew in his last term, even back when I blame Obama because everybody's dying. Obama
Yes.
let Mitch McConnell bully him and not fill judicial seats, Supreme Court seats. And they knew in his first term that was Mitch's thing. He didn't care about anything but filling in because he knew at some point there was going to be a legal challenge and that to all the things they were going to do. So the most important thing was to get the judges that they needed in place, and they did that during his first term. They got the judges in place. Now they're working on the policy because again, like I said in the beginning, the only guardrail, the active guardrail is not going to be executive, it's not going to be Congress, it's going to be judicial, right? That's the only guardrail stopping him from doing whatever he wants to do. And again, I don't think the court of land really thought through when they basically gave him autonomy to do anything that he might actually eventually challenge their power and make it obsolete, where they basically have given him control of the country, and he's going to go into that dictatorship where he says, "You know what? I think the Supreme Court is being that as soon as he starts to do something wild, and they go, you can't do that." That's when the constitutional crisis is really going to be when he goes, "I don't care what they say; they're just a bunch of judges, and I'm the president."
Hello, everybody.
Hello. Hello.
Sorry I'm late. Just been fighting with somebody. Anyway, another story. Thank you, Lori. I was watching you and Jermaine on Roku while I was actually on the call, holding it down. Thank you for doing that, Lori. I appreciate that.
Oh, anytime. Again, I wasn't as suave when you were talking about welcome to Head with Brian Parker. I am not he, but I tried.
You could have identified as he.
No, I could not.
Okay. Well, I saw that you guys were talking about Department of Education earlier, and I also hear you guys talking about the Supreme Court kind of being the bulwark right now for Trump. And it's kind of funny with Trump, you're hearing now them and his attorney general trying to fight back. And it's fun. It's rich that they are now accusing Democrats of judge shopping. And if people don't know what judge shopping is, it's when you're trying to get a certain ruling to go your way and you try to open up a lawsuit in an area that you think will be uh, sensitive to the issue that you're bringing up. Now, the reason that that's rich is because Republicans did this when trying to get mifepristone taken off the shelves, and they took it to some conservative judge in Texas that put a stop on mifepristone. And the thing, and it's so funny, they'll say that there's one judge in D.C., there's one judge here that is keeping President Trump from his agenda, and that one judge should not have the power to interrupt the executive's policy. Yet, when they shot that one judge down in Texas to be able to do that, that's exactly what they did. They've done that with other cases as well. So it's pretty rich now for them all of a sudden not to understand how the different branches of government works. That yes, one single judge can sit there and hold up something, put a freeze on something, even a temporary block. And like Judge John Roberts, who for a brief moment found his spine the other day, surprised that it was still
Still upright.
yeah, as long as he's been sitting on it, that he actually put back and said, look, you shouldn't be trying to impeach judges. If you disagree with a ruling,
There's a process.
there's a process, and that's what the appellate process is for. You to be and look, nobody should know about the appellate process more than Trump, because this is the most litigious person in the world, that when a ruling doesn't go his way, he will appeal, and basically, because of the appellate process, many would say is why he's president now, because he basically appealed himself till he ran the clock out, which is why Jack Smith had to go ahead and drop the case, which is why all these other cases had to come to an unglorious end, is because he appealed the hell out of them. Not to mention that they got started late because Merrick Garland's a piece of crap. But outside of that, he appeals everything, and he even does that even before he became president. That's basically how he just sat there and ran out the clock with people that would sue him. He had more money to spend than they did, so he would just keep them in court till they finally just said they would just tap out. So
But
he definitely understands the appeals process. Go ahead, Lori.
I get that you're saying that he understands the appeals process, but not necessarily Donald Trump, but actually the Republicans. They have the conservative judges that are there, and it seems that Trump is having a hissy because they're not bending to the knee or bending to his will.
So part of the problem that Trump has is that his even Republican judges need a viable argument, and they don't bring them. Sort of like when they said the election was stolen, and all those cases got thrown out because they couldn't bring any evidence. You can, on TV, which is where Trump lives, you can say whatever you want. In a
Right.
court, you have to bring evidence. They have to be solid arguments. No one can sit there and win a court case by just speaking in tongues. That's what Trump does. He speaks in tongues. And so his lawyers, and because an idiot's bringing the policy, it's hard to argue.
Right.
It's not based in anything. And so all the things he throws out there, and that's the other thing too, as a president, when he says, well, this is the reason I want it, they have to go argue that because it's public now. That's what he said. The problem is that he won't shut up.
Right.
And so
He
if he was
puts
just
in
saying,
the corner more times than not.
yeah, if he would just say, I just think it's not good for the country, the Department of Education, and then let the lawyers argue why, instead of him trying to bring the argument out, because once he brings the argument out, because the opposing attorney is going to go, well, that's not what the president said. He said this is his agenda, and this is why. and we don't think these are lawful reasons why. If he would just say, this is my policy, and let them argue the reasons why, or at least play ball with them and say, hey, give me the talking points for me to go out there and talk about it, and then you can defend it in court. That's actually probably his ego is probably his biggest weakness in making these things happen.
Yeah, big time. And the thing is that as of right now, like Jermaine said, the courts. Well, it's funny too. They're also they're also saying that, okay, number one, a judge can't disagree with Trump, because if they do, then they should be impeached. I don't know. The whole idea of impeachment is that it's to bring officials up on high crimes and misdemeanors. The minute you just start bringing up articles of impeachment, clearly because it's a party that does not agree with you, it's an opposition party, you're overusing the whole intent of impeachment. High crimes and misdemeanors has nothing to do with me not liking what a judge says. That is not a high crime. It is not a high crime to disagree with the president. It's not even a high crime if you say, well, they're obstructing the president's agenda. Because because judges are there to interpret the Constitution and what's legal and what's not. So if a judge has decided that their interpretation is that this is not lawful, you can't impeach somebody for simply doing their job. But now they it reminds me of, like if somebody sits there and files a false police report, how they can get in trouble for that. There should be something where if somebody files a false impeachment report, the same damn thing should happen. There should be consequences to whatever extent that looks like, because it's like, if you don't, it's going to consistently be this thing where, okay, we don't like what he said, we don't like what he did, we're gonna it kind of like a couple years ago when Joe Biden was first elected, and on the day of inauguration, Marjorie Taylor Greene brings up articles of impeachment. Dude, the only thing you could impeach him for at that point was he put his hand on the Bible and swore an oath, because he hadn't done nothing else at that point. He did it.
So there'll never be any guardrails for crimes like that, simply because the people that commit them are white, and they're never going to write a law that would get them in trouble.
Right.
Not purposely.
No, not purposely. Now, if some of the others of them get caught in the crosshairs, and that's okay. And I got a story on that one too. But
Well,
not.
no, I mean, really, I mean, it's just all encompassing, right? This is the same body that won't set term limits for itself, so it can stay in power.
Yep.
It won't tell its members that they can't trade in stocks, especially things that they're working in on committee. And again, I understand why there's a large base of people who look at that and go, the government is corrupt. And you know what? They're right.
You're right.
And so when Trump's promising, I'm not part of that government, I don't even like these people, and I can bully them, and watch how I talk about them, and they'll do exactly what I tell them to do.
Mm-hmm.
And people go, that dude gets stuff done. And you go, yeah, I guess.
But what stuff has he gotten done? There's nothing done. Our roads look like crap.
There's the Gulf of America.
Oh man, oh my God, that was huge.
Now people don't worry about the egg prices anymore. Just get some chickens.
Right.
You know what? I know he talked junk about electric cars for years and years and years, but buy you 3 Teslas. Help my buddy Elon out.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta stop setting fire to shit. That's the best terrorism.
Right.
He's accomplishing a lot. I mean, quite honestly, you know how many people want to lead the country now?
Any other president in history ever. What's wrong, Lori?
No, I was just going on Jermaine's comment talking about how many people want to lead the country.
I think, and actually, I'm personally grateful to Donald Trump and Republicans and all his voters, and because even though, and I say again, usually, my chevron of Jermaine says America is a historically racist country pops up every 5 minutes, and I start talking.
Mm-hmm.
Um, thank you. Uh,
She was
even though
waiting.
I say all that, I have always had faith that America could live up to the things that it talked about.
Right.
That America, even though it had a history, America is just one bad Tyler Perry movie. America is the crackhead
Bad,
that is trying to,
wigs,
huh?
the bad wigs.
The bad wigs and all,
Because
bad
I
wigs
was
and
about
all.
to sit here. Is Trump like the fallen hero with the bad
No,
wig,
no,
or
no,
he's
no,
trying to be
no.
like
No, he's just a
Medea?
loud dude on the corner to be talking shit.
Oh,
But
okay.
America itself is. We expect America to come bursting through the church door one day, singing a song and find a redemption, and I'm gonna put the drugs
Oh,
behind me.
can you hear me?
That's what we think. We hold out hope that America, even though the behavior doesn't match the speech, that one day it will. And I'm thankful because even I, knowing the history of this country, really did hope that there was a possibility that America was going to pull through and sing that hymn. And I now know that America is doing 8 Mile behind the gas station, um, getting high again. And that's just what it is. And I needed that reminder that America is who she not pretends to be, but who she's always been. This country is not for you and me. I used to think it was racist and horrible when white people would say go back to Africa. I now think that it was good travel advice. This country was not built for us. They don't want us here. Not really. Kind of the way that they need somebody when they go to Starbucks to say welcome to Starbucks and take their order, but they don't want you to be seen beyond that. There needs to be a service class, but they would like us to shut up.
Basically, be like holding the door open just as a porter,
Yeah,
and you kind of
yeah.
fade into the background,
Just fade into the
and
background.
do all of the work that needs to be done.
Yeah, and
Um,
I've said for years that we need to organize all this kind of stuff. The franchise has taken all that back. Y'all need to pack your money up and figure out how to move overseas and let them have they should. They don't show you who they are, and they continually show you who they are. I mean, and I don't say that just from they elected Donald Trump. Look at what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Look at all the protections, the civil rights stuff that they're rolling back in front of you.
yes, it's
They
shameful.
really want to turn the clock back, and quite honestly, they are. And what I see is, again, I think I said this before the end of last season. That I forgot how long I gave it before we were in some big conflict with somebody, um, whether it be a China or Korea or evidently Greenland. Um,
And also trying to get the Panama
well,
Canal,
you know what?
but
But this
but
is
but with the new trade route that China has now trying to access through Mexico now to circumvent that.
but the thing is that this is all part of Trump's persona, right? Here's an old dude trying to chase something that they have clearly told him that they're not interested, and he's like, "No, I think you should be my wife. You should come over here. I've got money. I can make you a part of the team." It's like, "No, we're good. We don't want to be a part of your team." I mean, one way or the other. What? I mean, because he's a rapist, right? He hung out with
Yes,
Epstein. And so he's got that colonizer mentality. If I
yes,
see it, it's mine.
yes. Yes, that's
You
very true.
know, just running around calling dibs on everything. And it's a shame that it's come to this. But I really just I'm just at the point now, based on the history of this country, where it's projecting now. I
Hmm.
just don't see it recovering. Actually, I see it getting worse. And this is, and y'all can, when the freedom fighters are fighting stuff, if y'all find this podcast episode stuff, you can time date it where Jermaine said it's gonna get worse before it gets worse. It's not gonna get no better. But for my brothers and sisters, I urge you, get your shit together and get out of here before the camps come.
Mm. It's
They
it's
gonna
it's
they gonna start they gonna start with they gonna start with the Latinos, and
apparently in the
then they gonna put,
Venezuelans.
because, well, so I mean, what's he doing? He's saying you can't be a naturalized citizen. Why even talk about that? You know who's gonna be a citizen? Only people who's gonna be a citizen are gonna go back to educated white males who own property,
Yeah.
because that's when America was great.
Yeah,
I mean,
I still can't understand why people are falling for that. You know, more and more people keep falling for all of this, and it's funny. I want to bring up this clip real quick because
do it.
um, we can go so many different places with it. It's funny though. This is part of my FAFO series. It's a quick clip, but it's indicative of what's going on out there. And we'll talk about some of the town halls that Republicans are the ones that are brave enough to have one are going to. They even bring up the one that Andy Biggs in Arizona had, where he basically made people check voter rolls, and if the people weren't Republicans, they would not let them in. And one of the ladies outside said, "Well, that ain't a town hall; that's a damn rally." Because if I'm his constituent, whether I'm a Republican, Democrat, Independent, whatever,
Mhm.
the town hall should be for everybody. But this little slick mofo then decided that he'll just make it for people that most likely agree with him. But check this out. Oh, let me see, where the hell is it? I thought it finished uploading. Let's see. Let's see. Hold on, Lori. I'm sorry. I added a clip. At least I thought I did. Let me see. I didn't see it.
I'm just gonna eat this chicken. Don't worry about me.
Oh, you eating some
You
chicken?
know, I, I told you it's not a white man anymore. I think it's purple. And it just seems to kind of sit here and come in and out from this way what's going on.
While y'all talking, let me try to add this clip in one more time. I thought I did it. I thought now I don't see it. But yeah, so there's been a lot of town halls lately. Um,
Yes, and also while you're getting that clip up, Brian, also at the town hall, they also now have fake security, not police officers, but fake security people that are now putting people that are disagreeing with at the town hall in zip ties and taking them out to where you don't even want to sit there and speak because if you decide to disagree, you need to sit here and get thrown out on your keister.
so this is my biggest issue, and it's been that way. I was gonna say I don't understand, but I do understand. But it's sad that the only way for people to give a shit about things is when it's directly happening to them. The ability,
Absolutely.
the ability for people not to see that something is
Empathy.
wrong because it's fundamentally wrong, whether it's happening to them at that moment or not, shouldn't matter. If it's wrong, it's wrong. And what I mean by that is that there's a bunch of people out there that as long as things weren't happening to them, they would be okay with it. So when they heard that Elon Musk was going to come in and cut out what they perceive to be waste, fraud, and abuse. That's all well and good, but oh no. We didn't mean for Elon to cut out our jobs. We didn't mean for Elon to cut back our assistance. We didn't mean for Elon, or we didn't expect them to start deporting us. We didn't expect them to start doing all these other things, which even if it didn't include you, it would still be wrong on its face. But the only
But
you give two dams is because it's affecting you. Go ahead, Jay.
the problem with the naivety of that is that they allowed slavery to stay here for 400 years.
That's true.
There's no empathy in that culture. If it's not me, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. Until it does.
And again, that's what the history says. I mean, I'm just repeating it, but that's what history says, is that empathy in this country is very limited. Remember, when the rest of the world was going to war, America was like, there's a whole ocean between us. We ain't got to get involved in that. They didn't get involved until they were dragged in. No, America didn't just go hop into world wars of their own accord, like because it's the right thing to do. In fact, uh, I defy anybody to show me one conflict America's been in because it was the right thing to do. And there was always some ulterior motive for them to be involved, and usually the motive, because the motive here is always money. It's
Right.
always a financial reason for them to be involved in something. When you look at in the 80s, how many countries that we help overthrow and install people that we had to go back in the 90s and 2000s and take out.
Right.
We didn't go in those countries to begin with because we thought the people there were suffering. Because if that was the case, after we changed leadership, we'd have been more active in helping those countries develop and evolve and offering healthcare and offering all these other assistance and stuff. We didn't do that. In fact, when we do go places and we do offer those things, it's a financial motive.
Yep. Absolutely.
We are greasing the wheels so that we can make deals, put boots on the ground in these countries and stuff, and take their natural resources. So again, it's the culture of America that says we don't care unless it's happening to us, and then we still don't care if it's happening disproportionately to you.
Right. So, so let me play this because this is really funny in a way. But it's only a couple seconds. Check it out.
But was it worth it? That find out phase is getting real for a lot of Trump supporters just about now. Hi, my name is Suri Crow, and you're watching the Midas Touch Network. Let's get into it.
Jennifer Piggott voted for Trump in the November election. Then in February, she was fired from her civil service job.
Absolutely. I feel a little bit betrayed.
She was among more than 125 people dismissed last month from the Treasury Department's Bureau of Fiscal Service in Parkersburg, West Virginia.
There's always that back and forth conversation now. It's like, you knew this was coming, but we didn't. Like, nobody that I've talked to understood the devastation that having this administration in office would do to our lives.
No kings! Okay. I put in the raw version. I didn't do my edited version, but that's still fine. Still get the point. So this lady gets Trump voter, gets caught up in all these firings and stuff. And first thing they do when they run to the camera is say, I feel betrayed. Venezuelans for Trump, they feel betrayed. You know, all these groups coming out at these town halls, they feel betrayed. And Jermaine, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's hard for me to feel sorry for these people because dude was lying well before he came down the escalator. Dude, they had a count of how many times he lied the first time he was in office. Every time the dude goes, a lie comes out after that. You ever notice when he talks, he goes, no, we're doing this and that. And anything he says after that, you know it's going to be a lie. It's hard for me to, because I keep seeing these stories where they come out, yeah, a lot of Trump voters feeling like they were conned, they were bamboozled. You can't be conned if you've been willingly able to accept something that you should have known was a bunch of bullcrap to begin with. That's not a con. That's Trump sitting there letting you be a useful idiot. There's a difference between being a useful idiot and a mark. And people are trying to conflate the two. But I can't feel bad for these people because the fact that you sitting there thinking, well, he told us this and he told us that. This man done had 3 damn wives. This man done sat there and been accused of sexual assault. All these things that happened. This man been in court, drug in court, this and that and the other. Why are y'all sitting there listening to him like what he says is the truth when you know that it's not? You know that he lied.
Because people would rather hear a pretty lie than an ugly truth.
Yep.
And it's just. I had a buddy of mine. I'm telling the story. I'm trying to condense it and make it real quick. I had a buddy of mine that I knew years and years ago, and I let him stay with me for some time because he said he was down on his luck and stuff. That's cool, right?
Me was.
And one day he comes to me and he says, "Hey, man, this girl, when we were in the Air Force, we would go do training out in Boise, Idaho, and he had this part-time girlfriend out there, and he tells me, hey, she called me, she's pregnant." And I was sitting there like, well, that's interesting because we had been out there in months. So
Immaculate conception.
what's that got to do with you? Well, you know, she, yeah, okay, well, she messed around with this other guy and stuff, but man, I really love this girl, and I'm gonna go out there and I'm a step up and be the daddy for this baby.
Why?
And I told him that was one of the dumbest damn things I'd ever heard in my life. And he was, and I told him he had a son that didn't live with him and stuff. I said, how do you plan on being a father to a child that's not yours when you can't be a father to a child that is yours?
Wow.
Mic drop right there.
I would say we fell out, but I didn't fall out. I had no bad feelings and stuff. He just didn't want to talk to me. He ain't the first person to decide that they want to talk to me, and I get it. Who tells you those kind of things? Your friends, and Republicans are the
Real
same
friends.
way. Your friends and family told you what it was, and you decided to fall out with them instead of fall in line. And now you just falling out on the ground. They say life is hard, but it's harder when you're stupid. Y'all need to stop rooting for the Department of Education being dismantled. Y'all might want to put some more pillars and beams up in that damn thing and go back and get you a double helping of some education, because only fools believe that Trump was not talking. And there's a lot of arrogance that goes into that too. That when they say, "Oh, my coworkers are lazy, but not me," people think that somehow that Donald Trump was going to go through and look at all the Republicans on the list and just cut their Democratic. No, he was going after everybody. He told you that. Venezuelans, he told you. Well, he said he was going to go after illegals. No, no. If you got too many tattoos and stuff, and you a tan color, oh, you are part of the gang, and you getting up out of here.
Yeah. You got a affiliation you didn't even know about.
Yeah. And they're not going to ship you back to. They're going to ship you to Guatemala. I'm like, they don't even ship them back to the places they think they came from.
They just ship them anywhere.
I said, is Spirit Airlines in charge of these flights?
Well, they're making money off of it, or the receiving country is. I think they said they paid them $6 million to send them to El Salvador.
Oh, that's where it was, El Salvador. Yeah.
Yeah. But
so,
yeah, absolutely. You're right, though, Jermaine. It's like, but people sit there, and as long as they thought it was going to hurt somebody else,
yeah,
that's what they were okay with. They weren't okay with what he did. They just didn't want it to be done to them.
I mean, listen to Republican lawmakers anytime there's a disaster in a blue state. I don't know, and the thing I will give Democrats is they never play that same game back. When there's something that happens in a red state, they don't go, well, Mississippi, we know you had a hurricane and stuff, but if you stop dating your cousins and stuff, maybe God will stop sending these things down here to judge you. Maybe we should make some changes. Y'all need to make some changes before we give you some change.
Right.
But that's how Republicans act when the fires were going on in California just recently. And
Yep.
any other disasters happen in a blue state, they always want reform and stuff instead of compassion. Again, there's a
Or if
culture.
you're gonna send us money, then we got to offset it with these cuts to these.
Yeah,
They ain't got damn thing to do with these disasters.
there are tangible ways to fix this government and stuff. One of them is it's not individual. It's not taxpayers on welfare that's bankrupting the country. It's millionaires on welfare that's bankrupting this country. It's not the grandmother who's getting $44 a day to live. It is Elon and the billion and trillion dollar contracts that they get from the government when they're supposed to be profitable businesses. We believe in capitalism up to a point. Like you and I need to pull ourselves up by the bootstraps and stuff, but these guys, whether it be big pharma, whether it's the technology, whether it's gas companies, whether it's the banks, whether it's auto, all these people have been in the government's pockets and have taken our money that we get taxed for, that they turn around and then don't pay their fair share of taxes, but they take our money and give that subsidy to them. Think about just if you live in a town that has a major sports team and stuff, did the team build that stadium or did you build it?
We built it.
These are billionaires taking handouts. And no one says anything about that. We live in a country where it's okay to donate to a charity because that's cool, but it's not okay to put up a system where we don't need charity because that's socialism. People would rather see people starve and dole out help to them than just plain out help them.
It's funny, and to your point, and even when you're talking about as citizens here in our country, and we don't really exercise that vote. I was thinking of when we're talking about Israel and Gaza, and how that the that the people of Israel are protesting Netanyahu and saying, you're only restarting and doing this again because you're trying to keep out of jail.
True.
Which is true. But it's again, but the thing with the Israeli citizens, they are and people are marching in this, but they're saying, hi, we know you're corrupt. We know this is going on.
Well, Lori, I will agree with you to a point on that. That's not his only reason. He fundamentally doesn't believe that Gaza has a right to exist.
Yes, absolutely, and that is something that I did not add in.
And here's the hypocrisy of it all. So Israel uses the thin defense of they have to defend themselves against others that don't think Israel has a right to exist. And the United States 100% will back Israel, send them all kinds of weapons, 2-ton bombs, all kind of ammunitions and everything else, because they want to say Israel should have the right to exist. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
That because there's somebody over in Russia named Vladimir Putin that doesn't believe that Ukraine should even be in existence. And there are people that question whether we should support Ukraine. And I'm like, well, hell, if we support Israel because Israel has a right to exist, why can't we support Ukraine the same way? From somebody. And here's the thing. When talking about Israel and Ukraine, it would never, ever be okay for somebody to say, what do you think the Palestinians should carve out a piece of Israel for themselves and negotiate to keep it? Yet you got Trump and Putin deciding on, well, we'll get their minerals and you can keep pieces of land that you've already conquered and you're not going to give back. How do you negotiate something? That would be like me going to Mar-a-Lago and saying to Trump, hey, I want to negotiate about 10, 15 acres of Mar-a-Lago. Now he's going to tell me, well, hell, ain't nothing to negotiate. It ain't yours. That's funny, isn't it?
Actually, it's just sad. It's just sad. I mean, it really is.
It is
It's
sad.
sad.
How can you do that?
Well, what's even sadder is watching people cheer it on, right?
Yes.
That's really and when I say that um, my mindset has changed, it's partly because largely because of the cheers. I understand what Trump has to gain from it.
Right.
I understand what Elon has to gain from it. Bezos and everybody else. I understand money wise because money's that's their whole life. They'll never have enough of the money, right? And quite honestly, those guys don't believe in the afterlife, so they don't have to worry about consequences for the things that they do now. They're not worried about that. And that's why Trump would make a statement about I could kill someone and get away with it in broad daylight. It's not even a moral whether I should or should not do that. I can and I could. And I'm pretty sure I get away with it. And at this point, I think he's right.
Definitely right.
But it's the ordinary people that I see that come out here and are actually cheering for their neighbors, for fellow citizens, for immigrants who have tried to escape war-torn areas, just wanting the same thing that the stories that they love to tell about how their grandparents came over here and started a new life and stuff like that, and they were escaping this and escaping that, but somebody else trying to escape it, and they're jeering and cheering for them to be deported and their due process and all this stuff. It's that kind of rot in the American soul that I go, you're right, this is your land. Because this doesn't represent who I am and what I stand, what I believe in.
And then going back to the video with the woman in West Virginia who lost her job talking about, I didn't vote for this. I didn't do this. No, you were okay as long as the cuts and the job cuts were to non-white people. But now you are all caught up into the wave, and it's like, well, I didn't want for this. I was like, and then the humanity and that is lost because now it's affecting you. Now you're concerned because it's you, not with other people, not in humans and having suffering. It's you.
Yeah. Think about what you're saying, though. You're saying that they fundamentally figured as long as it wasn't going to affect them, then it would be okay. What makes it not okay now that it's happening to you? What changed that dynamic?
Nothing.
If it happening to you is a bad thing, why isn't it happening to other people equally as bad? Unless you fundamentally think that you're better than somebody else. See, one thing has to be connected to the other. You can't fundamentally think just because it happens to you that is bad. It's inherently bad no matter who it happens to. So you already understood that. And what she said though was, uh, people say, "Oh, you should have known," and she says, "Well, we didn't." The reason that she didn't was she automatically assumed that all that bad shit was supposed to happen to other people other than us. We didn't see it coming for us. That's what she's reckoning was.
One of the things that we have to recognize too is technology, right? And what I mean by that is that we end up in echo chambers where we're hearing the same thought as our own. And their algorithms, that's the reason that the regulations for like Facebook and all social media stuff use technology to pump us with the same thing. That's why if you like a certain video, you'll get more of those type of videos and stuff.
Right.
Uh,
Algorithm. Mhm.
the algorithm depends on keeping your attention. And if you look at a video too long, then they say, based on the algorithm, that's what you like.
Right.
And so when they say they don't know, I do think in some cases there are some people who did know because that wasn't explained to them. They were explained that, oh, oh, he's talking about illegal aliens and people who came here fraudulently and stuff. But you're here with a green card, or you have a court date.
You're good. Okay.
You're good to go. There was a man whose wife, he voted for Trump.
Yes.
Yep. And
His
they went
wife,
into
his wife is in ICE custody. You know what he said? He said, I'd vote for him again. Now,
What?
I
did.
But
understand
the
that.
what? I didn't know he said he would vote for him again because
Yeah,
he
but
was
I mean,
crying the blues that she's
yeah,
in custody.
that's a married man. That's not a fair assessment. There's a lot of married men who wish ICE would come and get their wives.
Right. Right now.
Really?
Not here. And
No,
No.
not here.
No. I see the eye going to the left. Right. You sitting
But
here doing a text to
but
them.
it's not fair for a
That's
general
not,
American
that's
husband
not the
to
point.
be
That's
asking
not the
that
point,
question.
Lori. You thinking more about yourself. That's not the point.
Yeah, it's not fair for a general American husband to be asked that question. But the thing is that I really do truly believe. But again, I also believe, again, fundamentally, culturally, historically,
Yeah.
there's empathy in the American culture. It lacks empathy and it lacks humanity, and that's why um, it's always funny to hear America on the world stage criticizing other people for the things that they don't do right, and then it's what's really equally funny when average Americans are like, well, those people basically turn their nose up at us when we said something. Yeah, because they can read and they see the America's history is out there. They used to call you Jawbone. That's where I know you from.
Hey Jay, which is why it's hilarious that Trump keeps threatening to take Greenland from Denmark. Right? Oh, but that's not the crazy part. But then the crazy part is it got out that the agriculture department reached out to Denmark asking them for eggs. Can't even make this up. Asking them for eggs because if we got a bunch of eggs from Denmark, that could help lower our egg prices. But we're trying to take away Greenland from them.
Speaking around the find out portion, is it Nebraska, Minnesota? There's a Midwestern state whose primary commerce is agriculture, as you
Mhm.
bring that up, and
Yep.
they're about to be bankrupt here in the next 2 quarters because of these immigration policies. Where most people said because they saw the first Trump show and they realized that they will separate them from the families and stuff, so they're just not coming to work. So there's nobody working these farms and stuff, and these farms are about to go bankrupt. And when the
Yep.
farms go bankrupt and stuff, because it's such a large percentage of their state GDP, the state's going to go bankrupt.
Mhm.
And so all the farmers that voted for him, number one, the terrorists are killing them,
Yep.
and then the immigration policies are going to finish them off. I just don't understand. That's why the economy is going down.
Well, also
Uh,
canceling out USAID, where a
yep,
lot of the things that farmers grew went to
that they
countries
would sell for them.
that you're right. So all of that was in that. It's funny, I work in the hospitality industry, and we just had a call today looking at March production over last year, and my boss sat there and asked us as a group. He was like, "Hey, y'all notice? Is there anything going on out there that y'all notice that keeping the occupancy down?" And we were like, "Well, Black Christmas ain't as strong as it used to be. People not getting their refund checks, yada yada yada." And then one of the girls said, she said, "Well, also too though, Monday through Friday is that time when workers come in and stuff, and we're not seeing the workers come." And he was like, "Well, what's going on with them?" He was like, "Well, hell, they afraid that they come to work, they're gonna get arrested and deported." So we're seeing a lot of, and see, here's the thing: people can't even count on the fact that even if they're here legally, that they won't get scooped up with
Right.
other people that aren't.
Right.
So even the ones that are legal
Yep.
are afraid to come to work and do those jobs because they may get scooped up too. And they don't want that F-150 just sitting out in somebody's parking lot. Right. But no, seriously, it's affecting so many things out there right now. So many businesses, supply chains. These people sit there, they come to work every day. They eat from food trucks and other food vendors. So they're being affected by people not showing up to work and things like that. So it's having an effect everywhere. And to Jermaine's point, people going to end up bankrupt because they didn't realize that, all these people that always argued about making government small, making government uh, not, be a part of lives and stuff like that, are realizing that, hey, there's a lot of government programs out there that actually had a purpose and had a use.
That's why they were so. I worked in aviation for 20 something years, and so we used to work with our technical manuals and stuff. And basically, when a plane comes off, the manufacturer has operating guides and stuff like that. But one of the things that creeps up in these technical manuals are what we call warnings, notes, and cautions. And notes are little technical things like, "Hey, you have to flip this before you flip that," kind of thing. A
Mhm.
caution is something that might damage the airplane itself, and a warning might hurt or kill somebody. And one of the things that we always used to say is that, oh, they're rolling off a new product and stuff. It ain't got enough warnings and those cautions for me, because a lot of those things are written in blood, and I don't want to be the new person going in there and use my blood for somebody else to figure out not to do the thing I just did. A lot of people look at that kind of stuff and go, "That's too restrictive." It's not restrictive, it's protective. And that's what government is. And then again, I started to show off by saying, yes, I understand there are a lot of things that government and government's not, it's not working as fast as it should for its citizens. It's not um, as flexible. It's not as adaptive as we need in certain areas and stuff. Some things have been too cumbersome and processed and stuff like that. Uh, that's actually why the inspector generals that Trump came in and did the first thing was fire them are so important. Because one of the first things that you hear Republicans say is, these places haven't been audited. That's what the inspector generals do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, is to keep an audit. Now, the thing is that, again, are there ways, tangible ways, to help fix the government and make it leaner and more reflective? It'll never be a business, though. So you can't operate it like a business. Um, just like Elon will never be a lumberjack, so even though he had a chainsaw, he'll never chop down a fucking tree. Um,
No. Oh gosh, he
the
would get a splinter.
the only thing he's cut is his stock prices.
Yeah.
But the
Cut
but
his
the,
nose despite
the
his
the
face.
thing about that, again, the thing about that is that
Only
you
cut him.
have to understand that a lot of these government agencies are there for a reason. There was something written in blood, something that triggered their creation.
Right.
All these regulations for business and stuff, what we learned is that businesses don't care about the environment, they don't care about communities, they don't care about workers. Uh, all these people that rail against unions and stuff, the fact that you have an 8-hour workday, the fact that you have a minimum wage, the fact that that you can take lunch breaks, any other kind of breaks, a lot of the OSHA protections, the things that will, of course, they bought me goggles, not of course.
Right.
Mhm.
Those are
Right.
things that were negotiated.
FML, you can
That
go
these
on
companies,
to your job and your job has been protected.
yeah,
Yeah.
people don't understand how vicious companies are about profit and stuff. They don't care about anything else. Again, like you talk about, this country was founded as a business. Remember, they colonized this as a business. This country is based off of transactions and money. And so the companies are extension of the foundation of this country. this country does not care about you unless it affects their bottom line and stuff. Everything, just look, civil rights did get passed because there was empathy in the country. We've already established that didn't happen. When they boycotted Birmingham for 18 months and they almost bankrupt the city, they said we can't let this continue. What do they want? They just want to sit on the bus and drink from some fountains, which now I guess is legal if you want to put up segregated signs again.
Yes. Yes.
So again, if it doesn't touch a pocket, if it ain't in their wallet, they're not going to make a change for it. So all this stuff that we're talking about that they need to change or the good fight, Democrats are not equipped for it again, either because they're too stupid to fight the fight, or they're colluding with Republicans to keep things the way they are.
A little bit of both.
It's a little bit of both.
I do believe that. Which, well, I want to close up on this. There was a continuing resolution vote that just occurred to keep the government open, to avoid the proverbial government shutdown. It was done through a continuous resolution because what really should prevent a government shutdown is a passed budget from Congress. But Congress has not been able to pass the budgets Democrats are in control. So it's kind of funny how they say there's all this waste, fraud, and abuse, but they keep continuing the spending that Nancy Pelosi's Congress put in place. So you're saying it's bad, but then nobody has the guts to actually pass for a actual budget. Continuing resolutions basically are in place to kick the can down the road. But this particular Congress had already put in resolutions that certain departments need to cut certain things. And the only way that these departments will be able to achieve those numbers is if they make drastic cuts to Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and welfare in the version of SNAP and things like that. So Republicans push this as, especially the ones in the House, well, if the government shuts down, it's going to be because the Democrats shut the government down, which again is disingenuous and not true. The fact that Mike Johnson can utter those words is because he's the speaker, which means that in the House of Representatives, if he's the speaker, that means that his party has the majority of votes. So if every Republican congressperson in his party voted for TR, you would not need any Democrats to vote for it at all. They have a 218 to 215 majority. If all 218 voted, hell, if 216 voted yes, you would still not need any Democrats because all you got to do is win by one. So it would be literally impossible for the Democrats in the House to shut the government down. They don't have enough votes to do that. What you're saying is that we don't have enough on our side to do it, and we need some Democrats to cross over. But you're not even willing to negotiate anything with them. You're basically saying, "Hey, we need y'all to cross over and sign off on this, but we're not going to give you any concessions on it at all," which makes no sense at all. You have a certain sense of leverage to be able to say, "Well, if you want our help with getting this passed, these are the things. These are our asks right here." So Hakeem Jeffries did a good job of keeping all but one uh, from crossing over for supporting. In the Senate, Chuck Schumer signaled that he was going to follow Jeffries' lead. They were going to do the same thing. They were basically not going to grant cloture. Another Senate term. Cloture is where if the Senate agrees to cloture on any bill, the bill can pass with a simple majority, avoiding a filibuster, meaning that normally you would have to get 67 votes or 66 plus one for a bill to pass through filibuster. Well, there's not that many Republican senators in Congress, and the only way for them to pass it with the simple majority or have JD Vance come in there between eyeliner breaks and break the tie. My God, I don't know how you can talk about male masculinity and you were anyway. But um, what Chuck Schumer did was he went back on what he had said previously and voted for cloture, as well as 8 other Democrats crossed over and voted for cloture, so that the bill could be passed by a simple majority. So basically, he just gave up. He caved. He didn't even say, "Hey, we need to negotiate this." Did not play it that way because he said that he had a choice between two bad things: shutting the government down or trying to play hardball with the Republicans. And they would have basically just sat there. They wanted to shut down because then that would have helped them go ahead and Elon Musk just start shutting stuff down. So his whole argument was, well, they would shut it down anyway. Okay, make them do it.
Yeah.
Make them do it, Chuck.
Yeah.
So now, Jermaine, people are saying, hey, we want his head. People are even now saying, we think that AOC needs to primary his ass. Is it time for some of these geriatrics,
Been time.
whether it's Steny Hoyer, whether it's James Clyburn, whether it's Nancy Pelosi, whether it's Jerry Nadler, where it's some of these old school Democrats to get out of the way and open it up for AOC, Maxwell Frost, some of these other young guns that are, and I say relatively young guns, whether you got Jasmine Crockett, girl look young, but she's 43 years old.
I know she's fine too.
Boy,
Oh, Jazz. Ooh, you're fine.
I mean,
Fine.
she ain't, you know,
Boy, when she gets
She
to
is
talk
a
smack,
beautiful woman, smart,
that's what
everything.
yeah,
she's smart.
the smart,
smart.
yes, oh, the smart. That's what taking it over the top, baby.
Oh yeah, the smartness, yeah, that part.
Yeah, the way the clap back on that one.
Oh
Yes, as I said, when they say that she's hood, but she can sit there and turn it around with you in such a poetic way, it's just awesome.
well, you know, I love her. I love Jamie Raskin. These are folks that are very, very smart. And the other reason that I think, though, Jermaine, that it is time is because the way that the younger Democrats can engage with independents and Democrats are a lot different than what Chuck Schumer can do. Chuck Schumer ain't going to be on any uh, podcasts and stuff like that. These older Democrats still think that their constituents are watching Face the Nation or watching Meet the Press or watching ABC with George Stephanopoulos, watching 60 Minutes. And some of them may be, but a lot of them are not watching or on those outlets anymore. A lot of them are online getting their news, getting their information and stuff like that. That's who they need to be able to reach out to now. And I hear you and I agree with you. It's been a long time. This is just another example, Jay, of some of this old guard of Democrats thinking that there's a certain way that you have to handle Republicans. I'm sorry. You need to step aside and let some of these other folks get in there and be able to explain to the people out there what's going on. And when stuff is shutting down, they know why. Don't sit there and just hand them a victory and say, "Well, if we didn't agree to the CR, then they would have just done this anyway." Let them do it. Let them
Let it just be their fingerprints on the gun.
right.
You don't have to say, well, they were gonna kill everybody anyway, so I thought I take a couple people out myself. No, let them do it. Let them be responsible. It is a asinine and backwards ass thought. And quite honestly, again, it's either incompetence or collusion. And like we said, I think it's a little bit of both.
I do too. Yep. I think it's
because you can't tell me that Schumer he didn't get anything for us, but he got something out of that deal.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're willing to sell out their constituents for what has to be personal gain because he didn't get anything in negotiations on the bills and stuff, it had to be personal gain. He can't tell me I just did it because I thought it was the best of two bad choices. No.
Look, when a dog roll over, he normally get a treat. He ain't doing it because he don't expect a treat. He roll on his back like that, somebody gonna give him a treat. And the thing about the dog is He don't care who it is they give it to him. He just wants a treat. So I'm gonna leave it there. Something to think about. Again, y'all. Thanks for covering for me while I was dealing with my folks in Constant Contact. And we will do this all again next week. Which will be like, oh my gosh, it's already the first day of spring. Did y'all know that? First day of spring?
I did because somebody sent a message out and I saw it and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
No, I knew it was because I'm sneezing and my car is getting green again. It's green.
Yeah.
Pollen.
I thought I bought mine that color, but
Nah.
maybe I need to wash it.
No?
Yeah, it's green. It's green. I need to go to the car wash again.
No, better get that membership from Sam's.
Mm-hmm.
Lori gonna be waxing her car with my card on file. I see.
You telling me to use it?
Use it, girl.
Jasmine Crockett, I'm gonna need you to call me. Anyway, so we're gonna leave it there. We'll see y'all again next week. Lori, you ready? All right. Lori Parker, Jermaine Franchise. This is Brian Parker signing off head to head. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta